came to dance, 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 dance. I hit the floor cause that's my plans, 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 plans. I'm wearing all my favorite brands, 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 brands. Give me some space for both my hands, 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 hands. You, cause it goes on and on and on. And it goes on and on and on. Yeah, I throw my hands up in the air sometimes, saying, ayo, gotta let go. I wanna celebrate and live my life, saying, ayo, baby, let's go. Cause we gon' rock this club, we gon' go all night. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. Cause I told you once, now I told you twice. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. I came to move, 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 move. Get out the way of me and my crew, 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 crew. I'm in the club, so I'm gonna do. Just what the phone came here to do. Yeah, cause it goes on and on and on. And it goes on and on and on. Yeah, I throw my hands up in the air sometimes, saying, hey, gotta let go. I wanna celebrate and live my life, saying, hey, baby, let's go. Cause we gon' rock this club, we gon' go all night. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. Cause I told you once, now I told you twice. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. I'm gonna take it all right. I'm gonna be the last one standing. Higher over all right. I'm gonna
Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter! We're so happy you're here with us bright and early this morning. If you can, if you'd like to, if you want to, you can stand with us while we sing a few songs. Thanks, guys.
There's no audition for true love. No matter what, you don't have to earn it. If you've ever felt like an outcast, there's good news if you've never heard it. God so loved the world. God so loved the world. Never left you out of it. Whosoever needs a shelter, needs a savior, coming closer. All who wander, every outsider, you are savior, whosoever. No more of life on the sideline. There's an open door and you are invited. Come on in and join the song and raise a glass, cause you belong. No matter what, you're welcome and wanted. God so loved the world. God so loved the world. Never left you out of it. Whosoever needs a shelter, needs a savior, coming closer. All who wander, every outsider, you are savior, whosoever. shelter, needs a Savior, coming closer. All who wander, every outsider, you are Savior. Whosoever needs a shelter, needs a Savior, coming closer. All who wander, every outsider, you are Savior. Whosoever.
We are so glad you guys have joined us this early this morning. These are the people, you guys are the people that get things done, right? Well, we love you guys. Happy Easter to all of you. This one is called Kind of Wild, and this one's a new one for us.
Are you singing? 'Cause I love your melodies. Are you dancing? Wrapping your arms around me. Are you laughing? 'Cause I like to make you smile. Are you screaming? 'Cause that tends to be your style. Are you screaming? This love with you, it can be kind of wild. So come and change my focus. I don't notice where you're going, near and now. Come and change my focus. Help us know what you've been doing over us. So come and change my focus. I don't notice where you're going, near and now. Change my focus. Help us know what you've been doing over us.
Are you moving like the wind blows through the trees? Maybe all you're asking is just to slow it down and breathe. Yeah, I've been chasing for something I can't see. When I keep waiting, all this time you've been here, right beside me. So come and change my focus. I don't notice where you're going, near and now. Change my focus. Help us know what you've been doing over us. Change my focus. Now don't notice where you're going, near and now. Change my focus. Help us know what you've been doing over us. You calling me out of my mind, out of my mind. Now the roof's off. We spin like desire, deep and we're wide. You call me out of my mind, out of my mind. Your love is kind of wild. Come and change my focus. I don't notice where you're going, near and now. And change my focus. Help us know what you
you've been doing over up and change my focus. I don't notice where you're going near enough. Change my focus. Help us know what you've been doing over us.
Kinda wild.
I open up to you, this love that makes me new. Oh, may my heart receive this love that carries me from the head to the heart. Take me on a journey of letting go and getting lost in you. From the head to the heart, you take me on a journey of letting go and getting lost in you. Receive your light. You give me faith like a child. In you my heart runs wild. 'Cause there's no shame in looking like a fool when I give you what I can keep and get a hold of you. There's no shame in looking like a fool when I give you what I can keep to take a hold of you. Hey, hey, hey. More than words, more than good ideas, I found your love in the open fields. More than words, more than good ideas, I found your love in the open fields. More than words, more than good ideas, I found your love in the open fields. More than words, more than good ideas, I found your love in the open fields. From the head to the heart, take me on a journey of letting go and getting lost in you. From the head to the heart, take me on a journey of letting go and getting lost in you. There's no shame in looking like a fool when I give you what I can keep and take a hold of you.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey, good morning and happy Easter. My name is Michelle and we're so glad you're with us today, whether you are joining us in person or online. When you guys came in the auditorium this morning, you should have received a bulletin. Take a few minutes to check that out during service. There's some helpful information in there for you. And if you've got your kids from birth through 12th grade, we've got something just for them happening right now in Family Venue. You can get them checked in, they'll have a great time. And when you drop them off, you should receive a 4-digit code. Hang on to that, and if we need you during service, we'll flash that code on this display. And if you've got your baby or toddler who need a break during service, our wiggle room is right by the lobby. You can step in any time in there and still watch the service live. Every Thursday night, we gather for Bart Church at Mother's Brewing in downtown Springfield. It's a simple way to reconnect midweek. It's at 6:30 p.m., and we would love to see you guys there. Hey, we want to take a moment to celebrate something incredible happening through our social justice and response team. Since January 1st of this year, you've helped serve over 4,200 people in need through 784 service hours across 66 different service events. From overnight cold weather shelters to weekly meals for our hungry neighbors, RISE classes, and respite nights for kids with disabilities, you are making a real difference. This is what it looks like to be a community driven by love. So thank you. We want to invite you back next Sunday as we kick off a brand new series called Our Global Neighbor, a celebration of Earth Day. Over 3 weeks, we're going to explore what it looks like to love our neighbor on a bigger scale through creation care, community, and the world around us. We would love for you to be a part of it starting next week. Also, next Sunday, right after service, we have Next Level. It's a quick 15-minute or so gathering where you can meet our staff, learn more about who we are and what we believe, and find ways to get connected. So if you're new or just looking for more ways to get involved, Next Level is a great next step. So we would love to see you guys there. To stay connected, head to thevenues.org. There you can give online, sign up for groups, or see what's coming up. And follow us on social media so you don't miss a thing. And if today is your first time, thank you for being here. We're so glad you're here today. Before you leave, stop by the first time area in the lobby. We've got a gift for you. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have an amazing Sunday and happy Easter. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye.
Well, good morning and happy Easter. Happy Easter. My name is Nicholas Horn, and I am part of the teaching team here. And on behalf of the staff and the entire Venues family, we are so glad you are here with us this morning. Whether you're here every week, maybe you stop in every once in a while, or it's your first time, you belong here. You don't have to have everything figured out to be a part of this space. At the Venues, we believe something important about you. That you're already worthy of love, that goodness is already within you, and that the divine is not distant, but present and ever near. For the past month, we've been in a teaching series called Love Doesn't Say That, where we've been naming the things that love doesn't say, the lies, the shame, the fear. But today, on Easter, we're going to pivot and ask, what does love say? I believe love says there is more life within you, waiting to rise. Easter reminds us that life finds a way. And sometimes we, as the Venues, get to help make that way possible through our special adoption fund. Because of the incredible generosity, we now have over $60,000 available to help families adopt. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. $40,000 is available to anyone pursuing adoption, and $20,000 is specifically designated for LGBTQIA+ families, thanks to a grant from Springfield Black Tie. Those specific funds will need to be used by January 15th for the grant's mandates and requirements. So if that's something that you've been considering, or if you know someone who might benefit, we would love for you to connect. We have an amazing community director, Josh, and you can reach out to him at josh@thevenues.org for more information. Our hope is simple with this fund: more kids in loving homes. As we continue, we have a special song each and every Sunday, and during that time, volunteers will come by and receive financial gifts. I want to say this clearly, especially to our first-timers.
There's absolutely no pressure. We are not that kind of church. But if you do feel free and feel moved to give, we will receive it with gratitude. And if not, that's fine. We're just super glad you're here. For those who choose to give, please know this. Every dollar you give stays right here in our community, going towards real, tangible ways of showing love to our neighbors and creating opportunities for people to rise into the fullness of who they are. Our special song this morning is A Lot More Free by Max Minow. To me, it sounds like what rising looks like. Not adding more, but releasing from what's been weighing you down. Because often what keeps us stuck are the stories we've carried too long. What if love is gently saying, you don't have to hold on to that anymore? So as you listen, just notice what might be ready to loosen, what might be ready to rise. Would you pray with me? God, thank you for Easter, for the reminder that things are always rising. Help us trust the goodness within us and live with open hearts towards others. For those who feel heavy, bring lightness, and for those who feel alone, bring belonging. We are grateful to be here today. Amen.
Leaves start falling when my cold wind blows. Soon get covered by the winter snow. Birds start singing when the spring rolls round. Flowers blooming through the falling ground. Love somebody and the love grows cold. The sun starts shining when you let it all go. There's a certain kind of hurting only time can heal. That's a pretty good picture of the way I feel. Yeah, I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. I ain't saying that you never took a toll on me. For what it's worth, I can finally see. Yeah, I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. Yeah, I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. From this mountain I can see so far. Rivers running like deep, deep scars, carrying the lifeblood through my veins. Is it crazy that I'm grateful for all the pain? 'Cause I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. I ain't saying that you never took a toll on me. For what it's worth, I can finally see that I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. Yeah, I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. Thank you, guys. We love you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Philip.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Fancy seeing you
Easter.
here.
Yeah.
Happy Easter to you as well. Maybe it's just me this year. Easter has sort of a weird feel to me this year. And I think it's this. I think it's actually the absurdity of the weather. I mean, like 2 weeks ago it was 90 and I was wearing like shorts and sandals. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if you've ever had to do this before. It is so hard to find an Easter flannel.
Honestly, I've never looked for an Easter flannel.
It's just shocking, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think part of it is because Easter doesn't have the same date year after year. I don't know if you all know this or not. Easter can actually happen as early as March 22nd. But the next time that's going to happen is the year 2285. So I don't think we need to make plans on that quite yet. But this year for me, Easter coincides with another really important event in my family's life. Exactly.
Yeah.
The Final Four for both men's and women's basketball is this weekend. And while last night was devastating for me as an Arizona fan.
I feel it for you.
Yeah, after we beat up on Arkansas, that's fine.
Right.
The reality is that it's a weekend that has always been really important to my wife and me. And, we're looking forward to the women's final today with South Carolina and UCLA, and then tomorrow night as Michigan plays against UConn. But the thing is, at the end of every one of these tournaments, there's always this special moment at the very end where the coaches and the winning team climb up on a ladder and cut down the nets. They play this song, this one shining moment. I'm not going to sing it because I don't want to scare people. And then everyone is like, we're going to Disney World. And then college basketball gets forgotten. All of the Cinderella stories that we heard over the month of March just get forgotten. The players graduate. Maybe they go on to a career in basketball, or the majority go on to something else. The coaches move on to other jobs or move on to recruiting other players. And the majority of the players that we've known and loved just kind of disappear from our memory. And for a lot of us, it also symbolizes the beginning of baseball season. And for some people, that's a really exciting moment. We've actually, as Nicholas was saying earlier, we've spent the last few weeks kind of talking about how this functions with our faith journeys, in the sense that there's a lot of times in our past that we've had to let go of previous memories, the loves that we were handed, the way that it was controlling. And today we get to change talking about that, not about what love doesn't say, but rather about what love does say. And so in the same way that we say goodbye to the NCAA tournament, we have to not only say goodbye to some of the old models of love that maybe we were handed, but we've also got to look forward to what that love can look like in the future. We've all met the person who's still stuck reliving their best memories from high school. And I think sometimes we can get stuck in the same place. Because here's the thing. Just saying don't do the old thing doesn't mean that we can actually move forward. And this sentence that's on the screen today is the sentence that I kind of want us to land in at the end of today's teaching. Today, while you're out at brunch or trying to figure out what the weather is going to be like, I want us to kind of sit on this sentence, and that's this. That love isn't just saying no to the things that are problematic. It's saying fully yes to the things that bring life. I want to say that again because I think it's really important that love isn't just saying no to the things that are problematic. It's fully saying yes to the things that bring life. It's really this both and. We've got to finish school and start our career. We need to be present in the moment and plan for the future. And in this instance, it's both that we need to stop doing some of the harmful things that we were handed. The idea that love is exclusionary, or that love results in Christian nationalism, or that we should weaponize the Bible to control people. And actually, we need to replace that with actively showing love to people by listening to them, by being present with them, and prioritizing others, even those who we may not agree with. Now, Philip, this is something like your 47th Easter as a pastor. I quit counting. Right. Quit counting. Yeah, fair enough. But, my guess is you've probably seen a lot of folks as you've gone through this journey, both with yourself and with other people, who have had a way of love that they were brought up with or that they were taught, and you've had to kind of probably walk through that with people as they've changed their systems of beliefs, right?
Oh, very much so. I'm the main one that I've had to sit with.
That's fair.
As I've tried to change my systems of belief and trying to let go of things. And this is 47 Easter that I've been a pastor, and it's kind of hard to let go of that.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's kind of hard to accept that that's the fact. And it's hard to accept the fact that I've got shoes that are older than you are.
And they look better than me too, by the way.
But yeah, sometimes the hardest words in the spiritual life are not, what should I start? They're, what is finished? And when we hear Jesus' words from the cross, very powerful words, it is finished. We have a tendency to misunderstand that, I think. I hear those words, and sometimes I can hear them as defeat or as exhaustion, as if Jesus is saying, I'm just done. But notice that's not what he says. He doesn't say, I am finished. He says, it is finished. So something has reached its completion. We all are familiar with Michelangelo and his famous works, David and the Sistine Chapel, and so many, many more. It's interesting to me, however, that Michelangelo left more works unfinished than he did finish. In Florence, at the Galleria dell'Accademia, is the famous David. David's the one on top. Denise and I were there pre-COVID when we were on a tour with Father Rohr. And as I stood there in front of David, hoping that his physique would rub off on me, and after a few minutes, Denise just tapped her phone, her watch, and said, sweetie, even Michelangelo could not carve 20 pounds off that quickly. Let's go get some gelato. But before you arrive at this beautiful presentation of David, you go through a little hall in that Galleria. And in that hall, you'll see 4 of Michelangelo's unfinished works called The Prisoners. They're fascinating because the characters look like they're trying to emerge out of that stone. Historians call this non finito, not finished. And strangely, there's a way in which those can become the most powerful of Michelangelo's works because they remind us that life is often lived in the middle of becoming something. So the venues, 13 years old, is a community of people who are becoming. We're not finished. We're not fixed in a certain way of thinking, not fixed in a certain belief system, but we are growing and we are becoming. We're sensitive to what love wants to do within us. And sometimes love leads us to change things in our life. And this work of growing and of becoming is like those characters in The Prisoners, and Michelangelo's The Prisoners. It's not easy to do. A common myth says that Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling by lying on his back, but historians tell us he did not. Instead, he stood on scaffolding it took him 4 years to do that. His head was tilted back, and paint was dripping in his eye. In fact, he wrote a little poem about that, and this is part of that poem. He says, sometimes the most beautiful things in life are created in positions that feel incredibly uncomfortable. Gosh, I can relate to that because it has been very uncomfortable at times to change my theology. It's been very uncomfortable, neck back, things dripping in my eyes, sore neck. I'll be honest, and some people, when I was going through that change, and I'm changing all the time, some people did not accept that change very well. They were not sure I was going to make it out of there with anything of my theology intact, including me. It's uncomfortable to say this theology is finished. It's uncomfortable to say this particular way of looking at people is finished. But when Jesus said it is finished, he's not saying that life is over. He's just saying that something has been completed. I was asked this morning to help somebody learn a few basic ASL signs, and that's the only kind I know are the basic ones. And one of my favorite ASL signs is this, when you just say it's finished. And I love it when children who are deaf or who are nonverbal, they learn sign language, and when they're done eating their meal, it's finished. And I think about some of the things that I just want to say this. I'm just done with that. I just dropped that. The old story that God's love must be earned, finished. The belief that violence is a path to peace, gosh, I'm finished with that. A religion built on fear, I think we can all say finished. Yeah. Then a faith that draws lines and decides who's in and who's out, we are all finished with that. We stood at the cross on Friday, Good Friday. We take very seriously what happened on that day. And one thing that I am finished with is the idea and the belief that a God who requires a sacrifice in order to love me and to forgive me. I'm finished with that because that's not love. That's a transaction. And I don't think God is a God of transaction. Easter is not the story of a transaction. Easter is a story of a love that refuses to stop loving, even when we are at our worst. And maybe, just maybe, you're finished with some things too. How many of y'all are finished with the old ways of thinking, your old fears, your old versions of faith that no longer give life? So, Chris, if the cross seems to say we're finished with some things, say no to the parts that are unhealthy and not life-giving. Help us understand what the resurrection gives us instead.
Yeah. You know, I think, Philip, that the hand signal you were just saying there, like it's finished, the thing about it is that if we just walk around like this all the time, we can never pick anything up.
That's true.
And I think that that is actually the place that we want to maybe move into as we're thinking about that. You know, I think about this, that when I was growing up, the faith that I inherited, the things that I was taught, these rules that I got from my youth group, which weren't bad, by the way, a lot of them, I was told, you need to be finished with those things just because they're like the destructive parts. And I think that there were probably some benefits to that, right? There are some things that we just need to finish and just be finished with. You know, as I've tried to get like more mindful or healthier, I realized there are some habits that I had that I just needed to be finished with. Like, don't stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning doom scrolling. Just be finished with that. But maybe it's just me, but if I don't pick something back up to replace that with, I find myself back in the same habit of just doing the same thing that I said I was finished with, but I didn't fill it with something else. And to me, Philip, that's actually the good news story of Easter, is that it's not just that the bad things can be cast aside, but that there's something to look forward to. In other words, the end point of the Easter story is not just that it's finished, it's also that it's the beginning. You see, in the Christian New Testament, there's this guy named Paul who many people credit him with writing a large chunk of what we call the New Testament. And basically, it was letters that were written to small churches, that they were written largely in Greek. And one of these, in the book of Colossians, there is this text that I think is actually so enlightening on this. I want to read it to you. It says this. It says that Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, so that he might come to have first place in everything. And I'll be honest, when I first read this, it sounds kind of like esoteric, kind of like high theory. It was hard for me to wrap my fingers around. But there's a pastor and a theologian that we read a lot of here at the venues by the name of Brian McLaren. And he wrote this excellent book called Faith After Doubt. It's a book, by the way, that we read together as part of our community here about 4 times a year. We have groups that come together and read through this book and process through it to help people who have said it's finished figure out what to pick up next, how you engage in faith after that doubt piece. And I want you to hear what he said about it. He said, Jesus is called the firstborn from the dead, not because he is the last word, but because he is the first sign that death and injustice do not get the final say. In other words, maybe Easter is the story that says the things that you were handed, the things that maybe even you dismissed, the rules, the standards that were impossible to meet, the regulations that said that religion is a place of fear, the style of faith that said people need to be excluded for you to be included. Yes, those things need to be put to death. And there is a path forward. Because we don't just have to say no to the hurtful parts of the past, but we can also say yes to the life-giving parts of the future. This is something that the followers of Jesus, I think, really would have had to wrestle with when it comes to the Easter story. These folks who had given up everything that they had given up their jobs, they had been like you and had seen shifts in what they had thought was possible within their faith stories. They had been following Jesus around for years, and they thought that Jesus would physically be there with them forever. Now, Philip, I'm sure that there are probably some people who might actually really relate to this space, even in this room or who are watching online right now. There are people who have followed you on your journey as they have had their journey as well. And they were probably thinking, just like the disciples thought that Jesus would be there forever, they thought that you would always be that singular spiritual director, guide, pastor for them. So how have you wrestled through that?
Yeah, wrestling is a great word for that. It really is, and it's kind of hard to change that life and go into something else. But as I look at it, it's a terrifying thought that I would be somebody's pastor forever. I mean, if that's the case, I would never get to go hiking on Sunday morning.
Devastating.
Yes, exactly. So if people have a faith that revolves around one person, then I've not been a very good pastor. I've never wanted people to develop a Philip-shaped faith. My goal was always to help them find a God that was a lot bigger than my business card. But I don't believe that one person should be or is ever meant to be the center of someone's faith. In fact, our goal should be the opposite, to help people kind of develop their own journey, their own questions, and their own experience of the divine. Let's go back to Michelangelo. Denise and I are getting ready for another trip, and I got to thinking about another trip that we went on. And on that same trip, when we were, this was a different time. This is when we were in Rome last fall, and we went to St. Peter's Basilica, and we saw this piece of work by Michelangelo. That's the Pietà. Of course, that's Latin for pity, Our Lady of Pity. It is the only work, if you'll see on that bottom picture, that Michelangelo ever signed. And the reason he signed this piece of work is because somebody was spreading the rumor that some other artist created that beautiful sculpture. And so he snuck into St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, and he carved his name in the sash across Mary. But later, he regretted, and I quote him, he regretted his outburst of pride, and he swore never to sign another one of his works. There's something to that, because some people never get there. There are some people that like to put their name on everything. And somehow, it's never enough. Michelangelo signed one thing, and he spent the rest of his life wishing he had not. Early in life, when we're immature, we like to sign our name. I remember writing my name on notes pad in school, listening to the lecture. Then I started writing Denise's name when I was in seminary. We like our name on everything. But later in life, when we mature, it's not that important to have our name up there. We just want our work to last. We want that to be our legacy, not our name. Which is lucky for you, Chris, because come July, I'll take my name off the stationery. So if your faith has grown, if your understanding of love has expanded, If your beliefs have shifted, if you see the world a little differently than you did 30 years ago, I am so happy for you. I just celebrate with you. But that's not something that I want to put my name on. That is your journey. That is your story. I'm just glad to have been maybe some part of that. And honestly, if your faith has not changed in 30 years, you're not on a journey. You're a taxidermist. It's got to change. It's got to grow. We've got to finish it. Since we're talking about ASL, that's finished, and that's accept. So you take what you've dropped, and then you accept something else. I accept love, and I accept all these healthy things. So the goal is really never to follow me. The goal is always for you to keep on becoming. And that is still happening under your leadership.
Yeah.
And I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you, Philip. You know, this whole thing, and I appreciate the way that you've actually modeled this so well, Philip, because the whole thing wasn't the plan for Jesus either. Like, Jesus didn't just have this goal that it would just be finished. While the original disciples were looking at Jesus and hoping that he would set up an earthly kingdom, he had something else in mind. He had this idea that the followers of Jesus would grow to a place where the divine within them, what we might even call the Holy Spirit, was the final word on, the way that would guide them. And in fact, when Jesus was preparing his original followers for the fact that he was going to be leaving, he told them this exact same thing. And he told them it was actually going to be to their advantage. He said this in the book of John. He said, "Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is to your advantage that I go away. For if I don't go away, the advocate will not come to you. But if I go, I will send them to you." And this word advocate, like I said earlier, the New Testament was largely written in Greek. And this word for advocate is the word paraclete. Oftentimes it gets translated in a lot of different ways. Some people translate it as Holy Spirit. Some people translate it as helper or counselor or advocate. But as important as it is how we translate it, I think it's actually way more important how we apply it. Dr. Moses Biney described it this way, and I thought it was so good. He said it this way. He said, "While we must engage the many public faces of evil, the most important revolution that we wage must first begin with our little houses that lie in ruin where the ground has shifted. It is in this turning that we encounter the paraclete, which requires conjuring new narratives and signaling new possibilities for reimagining home." One of the reasons I really think that Dr. Biney is so interesting here is that he really does most of his work at the place where Black culture and theology meet, studying the process by which people have risen out of enslavement. And he says something here that I think is deeply Easter. He says that when the ground shifts under your feet, when the systems that you've relied on for so long start to crack, that it's not just a moment of loss, but it's also a moment of becoming. It's the moment that you can ask the questions that you never felt like you could ask before. You could start to ask questions like, what does home look like? Or what does belonging look like? Or what does it look like to build from scratch instead of just inheriting something that we got from somewhere else? And I think that's exactly where the first followers of Jesus might have found themselves as well on that first Easter day. The ground underneath them had shifted. Everything they thought they knew was finished, it seemed like. And it was into that disorientation that something new became possible. The advocate, the paraclete, not the consolation prize for what was lost, but the thing that was always going to be needed to imagine what would come next. You see, when the world around you seems to be breaking, it gives you the best opportunity to put the pieces back together as they should be. And I think that's the lesson of the resurrection story of Easter. Is actually the absurdity of it. The dynamic that just as wild as the weather has been here in Springfield, or just as wild as it is that the NCAA tournament finishes, the idea that we need to hold both the finish and the beginning together is the beauty of Easter. You see, Easter breaks through because of its absurdity. It's the beginning. It's the starting point. Following just one person means that when that person leaves, the movement is over. And that is the world's definition of power. It's the reason, by the way, that so many political parties struggle when their leader is no longer there. But you see, that's not the standard that a life driven by love follows after. Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown Douglas said this so well. She said this: Easter is God's last laugh. Humor is a signal of transcendence. There was nothing more absurd to me than going to Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. during a raging pandemic and seeing a diverse group of people protesting with music, chants, and big yellow writing. That made me laugh. And I said, that's God. That's what the resurrection is about. Resurrection hope is believing that crucifying realities don't win and that hope manifests as protest. So maybe that's the picture that I want us to leave with today. When everything else seems to be shifting around, when oil prices are pushing up and up and up, when the war in Iran is breaking into probably its 6th or 7th week, when everything else seems to not make any sense, maybe the only thing more powerful than the hate and frustration that many of us have felt, maybe the only thing more powerful than that, is the hope and peace that we can bring through it. I love the fact that during all of the current protests that are happening, there are all of these absurd actions, people dressing up as frogs or carrying wild, funny signs. And maybe in this moment, that is a picture of what the resurrection does, is it breaks through because it says that something else is possible. Sometimes we see that in a protest sign, and sometimes we have to see it within ourselves. And so, Philip, with all that's going on, would you be willing this morning just to help us kind of process through this together? How do we hold this tension between it is finished and it is beginning? How would we walk that path?
Yeah, somebody talked to me this week to ask me, knowing what my journey has been, what I believe about the resurrection, physical resurrection or metaphorical resurrection. And I said, I'm at the point in my life now where that's not as important to me, which that statement in itself causes some discomfort for people. And I want to encourage you all, if you're wondering about the literal nature of the resurrection, maybe that's not the biggest question to ask. It may be an important question for you, and I admire that and I respect that. But maybe the more important question would be, am I allowing resurrected thoughts and resurrected perspectives to arise in me? Am I putting to death some of the things that are harmful, some of the things that hurt, some of the attitudes that destroy? And am I allowing this new to rise up in me? And so I invite you, as we close our time this morning, just for a moment, just in your soul and your spirit, forget about what's going on outside of your own being right now. You don't have to close your eyes, but if that helps you to focus, certainly do that if you like. And join me and just take a slow breath in and then let it out. Easter tells us two things at the same time: that something is finished and something is beginning. So just gently ask yourself, what in me is finished? Is there an old fear, an old belief, an old story about yourself or about God that no longer gives life? You don't have to fix it. You don't have to force it. Just notice that. And now, what might be beginning? What might be rising up within you? A new way of seeing, a new way of loving, a new way of being in the world. Maybe it's small, maybe it's just a whisper, and that's enough. So the cross says it is finished. The resurrection says it is beginning. Today you are somewhere in that sacred space between. So just breathe. Let what is finished be finished. And allow what is beginning to begin. Amen.
Yeah. Philip, I don't know exactly where everyone will land with that, but I do think that there is a practice that you taught me this morning that I think a lot of people will take with them, and that is this: that as we finish, we can just let it go.
Let it go.
And as we bring it in, we can do both.
Yeah.
And may we live in this rhythm of letting go and bringing in, of letting go and bringing in. Thank you so much for sharing that process with us. I think it's so important as we learn the finish and the beginning.
It's a daily practice, yeah.
Yeah. With that said, this morning there are a couple of very specific things that we would like to draw your attention to. You will notice that on the screen, whether you're watching online or here in person, there's a Q&A line. If you have questions, because we know that finishing and beginning, this kind of conflict is a space that you might have questions about. One of the things that we think is best about this rhythm is to do it together. And we would love to do that by buying a cup of coffee for you and kind of walking through this process together. So if you have any questions, feel free to text them in to us. We'll make sure that we respond to them at the latest by tomorrow, and we'd love to do that with you, okay? Along those lines, though, we do want to go ahead and allow folks this morning to get to their brunch, but we do have a couple of quick things that we want to let you know about. The first of which is that right after the second service, which will run from 10 to 11 o'clock, there is going to be a gigantic Easter egg hunt, and there should be a slide showing up right now that gives you some instructions about that, and it says that if you have questions, I'm just kidding. There's going to be an Easter egg hunt after second service, and so I wasn't sure if we'd made the decision yet if it was going to be inside or outside. That's what I was looking for because of the weather. So there will be an Easter egg hunt after second service, so if you have kiddos who want to come and check that out, please have them come back. At 11 o'clock, there's going to be an Easter bunny running around that they can pull the Easter eggs off of. Make sure you also get pictures with the Easter bunny out there. With that said, if you have kids and you brought them here this morning, we want to go ahead and let you have the opportunity to go get them first. So if you want to go ahead and stand up